All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is options expiration Friday. Also, the employment situation. This is January 9th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all the members, all the subscribers. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you so much for your subscriptions. All right. Let's take a look at the markets today. Had a wonderful day in the market. See how I made 12K on a 53K account. Remember, I only traded 5,337 today. That's all I had to work with. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Let's take a look at SPY. And let's move this down. And this over. And we'll take the SPY on the 10-minute chart. And we've got a weak 2-candle 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. Let's pick this up on a game plan right there. Okay, so weak one candle, 2-candle, 10-minute downtrend. Actually, just kind of bullish consolidation moving over to the right. All right, so let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. On the 2-hour chart, we've got a 2-hour uptrend. Remember, my favorite trade is the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside of the 2-hour uptrend, resides inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend, all over the all-time high anchored VWAP, okay? We had that today. Okay, so SPY made on the daily candle, okay? New all-time high for SPY. Okay, so we'll move this over. You can see there's our higher low, higher high. Here's our April low. All right, here's our January all-time high. We're at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. And we're in an uptrend. Nice little wedge here. Should see a nice breakout. Maybe, I don't know, maybe up to 720. We'll see what happens. Okay, so there's a daily candle. That's bullish and in a daily uptrend. QQQ. Got a higher low and a higher high. Closed over a bullish trap. Closed over the flat 17. Closed over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Closed over the uptrend line. Closed at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. Here's the April low. That's bullish and in an uptrend, showing an inverse head and shoulders. That's bullish to the upside. Okay, on the 10-minute chart, we had a weak 1-candle 10-minute downtrend. That's it. I'm going to call it bullish consolidation because it just really just moved over to the right. We didn't even make any like lower lows, so just call it profit taking really. On the 2-hour chart, 2-hour uptrend. On the daily chart, you can see still in an uptrend here as bullish and in an uptrend on QQQ. April low. Top of quadrant 4, bullish in an uptrend weekly. See all the green dots? That's the 17 EMA. Okay, so price is well up over that. So that's bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, look at all these green dots. Wow. Okay, that's bullish and still in an uptrend on the weekly, the monthly, and the daily chart. So that's QQQ. Let's take a look at IWM. On the daily chart, and IWM gets a new all-time high. That is a higher low, higher high. That is bullish and in an uptrend, okay, for IWM. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow gets a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. That's a rising 17. You can see clearly up at the top of quadrant 4, that is bullish. Here's the April low. Top of quadrant 4, that's bullish, still in an uptrend right there. Let's check out Stinker, see what Stinker's doing. All right, so here's Stinker, and Stinker there's a low there of 24.20, low there of 24.21. So inside day for Stinker, higher low, lower high, closing in the bearish trap under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the minor resistance, which once was major support and showing a bearish head and shoulders pattern right now. Okay, so there's stinker, and that's still neutral, still in a downtrend for stinker. All right, that's FNGU. All right, let's take a look at, let's move over to the right. Okay, T2101. No, let's go back. Let's go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. All right. Silver. Silver, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17, rising 17, top of quadrant 4. Hey, that's bullish and in an uptrend. Gold. Gold got a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend as well. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG makes a new all-time low for you bottom pickers out there. All right, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17 EMA, under the falling 17 EMA, under the 2025 10-month anchored high anchored VWAP right there. Bottom of quadrant 1, that's bearish and in a downtrend. And let's take a look at USO. And USO for today. Whoa, we got on the other side of that. Wow, check it out. Higher low, higher high. Closing over a bullish trap. Over this flat 17, wonky 17. Closing, I can't tell if it's over that line or under that line. I'm going to call it over the line. Okay, so over downtrend line right there. Okay, over, and it very well may belong out there. I doubt it. We'll take this one. Okay, right there. Right there. So we'll use that one right there. So that's closing over the downtrend line. Now in a daily uptrend because it made a new higher high. Okay, because there's a high there, and they made a higher high. They were in a downtrend because they made a lower low. Now they made a higher high, so they're back in an uptrend back here. Underneath the 2022, okay, high anchored VWAP. That's the post-COVID rally high anchored VWAP. Okay, so we're underneath that still. All right, so we're still neutral, but now we're in an uptrend. Okay, so very well could be down here on Monday. You never know. Okay, it's definitely been a washboard, that's for sure. USO. All right, so let's take a look at technicals, T2101. And the market went up and the participation went up, and we love that when that happens. Okay, so there's the absolute breadth. So you substitute the word participation for breadth. We like it when the breadth or the participation increases when the market goes higher. That's what we want to see. More people pushing the indices higher, okay, or the securities higher, okay. That's on the 15-minute chart, like that. That was well done. T2122. Well, we camped out in the overbought zone. Nice, like it. Nice that we weren't up in the 99 area, because when we get there, it's typically a reversal. I like it that we just kind of lingered around up here over the overbought line right there. Okay, so love that. So nice work on T2122. Did they make? Sad part, they did not make a higher high from yesterday's bullishness. Okay, they did not make the higher high, but they did make some higher lows. Nice consolidation at the highs. All right, that's bullish going into next week right there. All right, I don't know how long it lasts, okay? It could be a 24-hour rally. That's it. I don't know. We'll see, but that is bullish going into tomorrow. T2123 inks out, yep, another higher high. So that's in an uptrend. You look at all the green dots. Bullish gap up. Bears never filled the gap, okay? This is a bullish environment. Look at the weakness on the bears part. They could not fill the gap. Price is up over the rising 200 SMA. Price is over the prior consolidation. Got a consolidation breakout here. Okay, so that's the 15-minute chart. So that's bullish and in an uptrend right there on T2123. 3-bar chart. All right. You can see, let me look at everything. Here's the April low. There's the all-time high in September. There's the pullback low. Notice in the upper third, hanging on to this head and shoulders neckline right there. And then we bounce, okay? And we wind up consolidating in a bull flag fashion up over the flat 200 SMA. From there, we linger there too long and the bulls get restless or the bears get restless and they give up their positions and then we go higher. So that's where we are right now, making a higher high. Okay, so that's bullish, all right, and in an uptrend on T2123 3-bar chart. Okay, so we are dangerously close to setting a new all-time high up here. Okay, so look how far we got to go. This is it. We get up above this consolidation right there, and you know the all-time high is in the crosshairs. So that is bullish and in an uptrend. Look at this. This is April low, top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Okay, let's take a look at Stinker. One more look at Stinker. Stinker's in, it's in an uptrend. Because there's the high. They made a higher high. They didn't make any lower lows. So Stinker closes over the falling 200, but they've done that before. All right, so nothing to be surprised about, nothing to get excited about. They're over the VWAP. Okay, all right. Still underneath the minor resistance, which was once major support, still underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. If you look at this with the quad lines on it, and this is the 15-minute chart, okay, we're still down here in quadrant 1, okay. Like I said, nothing to get excited about. Okay, still in quadrant 1. That's from the high to the pullback low. All right, and we're in an uptrend. Okay, so that's where we're at right now on the 15-minute chart. On the daily chart, you're still in a downtrend. Okay, but on the 15-minute chart, you're in an uptrend because you made a higher high right there. Okay, so for tomorrow, for Monday, all right? Let's go back over here. Going to go to SPY. For Monday, okay? I would like to see a pullback, make a higher low, and then the bulls rip up and attempt to make another higher high. We'll see, all right? I would look for a continuation. I'm just going to go out to the 15-minute chart of the 15-minute uptrend, hopefully, or some consolidation, okay, over that high would be nice. Consolidation over the high, that would be very bullish, moving up and holding the higher ground, or can just continue going higher, put in another higher high after you bounce. See, they haven't touched the 17 yet. Notice, this is the first time they touched the 17. So I would think this is probably being the first time they touched the 17 in, multiple hours. I would think they bounce back up and test the highs. If they can get on top of all of this and hold this higher ground, all right, up on top of this, consolidate on top of all of this, right through here, okay, I would look for this to make a run probably at 699, 700. Okay, but they got to either hit VWAP, all right, and then make a higher low, and then look for the bulls to get inspired to make the higher high. And they need to get up over this, consolidate, or just keep going higher. Either one, get up here and then consolidate. Otherwise, we're probably heading up to, if we can get up there and do that, I think we got a chance of making a run at 699, 700 on Monday. Okay, so I bought into the close. Oh wow, got a bunch of them. All right, so I got 450, 700 contracts that expire on Monday. Okay, hopefully the world doesn't fall apart. All right, and that's for my P&L for Monday. All right, so today, all right, how I traded today, and by the way, all of today is recorded. Okay, almost all of today is recorded. Actually, starting at the very beginning. If you want to find the recording, you see the people, hit the hamburger, and the recording's right here. See where it says recording? It'll open up a new page. Okay, so this is all of yesterday right here if you want to watch what happened yesterday. Okay, now I don't talk during the whole thing. Okay, it's a lot of talking. All right, so there's 5 hours of yesterday's price action. Remember, yesterday was Thursday, and we were in the combo room, which is also recorded. All right, so we spent 3 hours in the combo room, which is right here in the combo room. If you log into the combo room, you can see the recordings for that. Or you can just come over here and under resources, look at the e-learning replay. And you can see here it is right here. Here's Rick's. There's mine. And the topic was developing a trading plan. And then here's Doug. Okay, so again, how to get here. You log in, you go over to resources, log in to hit and run candlesticks. You go to resources, down here, e-learning replay right there. Okay, now down here, you'll notice there's like 34 pages. Each page has 10 videos, roughly about an hour long, okay? All right, so that's 34 pages of 10. That's 340 hours of content right there. Hey, and you know what? If that's not enough for you, okay, then we've got public webinars. Again, 10 videos per page, 20 pages of that. So there's another 200 videos. And if you get tired of that, just go to our YouTube, all right? And then I think we got probably thousands of hours on YouTube, each one of us, of content for you to watch on there, okay? So, I mean, we got content out the wazoo, all right? So if you're looking for stuff to learn, it's probably overwhelming. John, where do I start? You know, because there's tons of content here, okay? The place to start is with your trading plan. Write yourself a nice trading plan. Get yourself a trading log, all right? And then work on your weakest link. And you're not going to know that until you start tracking your results, all right? So work on your entries and exits, all right? That would be one thing. Again, start tracking your results. No better time than now at the beginning of the year to start making a habit of tracking your results, okay? So there's where the content is. Now, back over here to the room, okay? Again, the videos, okay, all right here. So today's video will be right here. And the whole thing's probably going to be about 7 hours long right there, okay? So there, and you'll see the whole day captured right here. Okay, so what we traded today, I'm going to put the pre-market on, and I'm going to use a 5-minute chart. Okay, so right off the get-go, we had price action up here. We made a higher low, so I was willing to buy the low of the option candles. So right off the bat, I saw price kind of consolidating all of this, all right? So all of this, okay, so this is what I'm looking at early in the morning. All of this was over all of this. Consolidation over prior consolidation is a bullish environment. So I'm probably going to be bullish. All I need is a reason to be bullish. Okay? Got a higher low. That's good enough for me. All right? So that's my bias. Got a higher low. So that's good enough for me. So I bought a battery or a basket of calls early this morning. Here's the first one. Bought and sold it immediately. All right? Made my daily goal in 10 minutes. All right? Because I bought a basket of calls this morning. Seeing the higher low made me want to see the bulls get inspired to make the higher high. So I bought a basket of calls right there. Bought and sold them instantaneously right there. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. Same thing here. Okay? Just like that. Then throughout the day, as the 10-minute uptrend developed over VWAP, okay, started buying, picking off the lows of candles, all right, and selling into strength. Okay, so there's one. Okay, again, picking off the lows of candles, selling into strength. Picking off the lows of option candles, selling into strength. Every time there's a rally, sell up into that rally. Same thing again, picking off the lows of option candles and selling into strength. Same thing over and over. All right? So I'm taking the same, get this, okay? So I'm taking the same, remember, risk amount. I got 5,337 to spend. Not that I used it all right? But I'm just reusing it over and over. Every time it goes up, take profit, now I reload. Goes up, take profit, now I reload. Goes up, take profit, now I reload. What the reason for me to reload is I'm looking at the 10 or the 15-minute chart. You can see the 3 EMA is above the 8 EMA. So I got an uptrend right there. All right. So as long as my uptrend is still intact, okay, I want to reload. As long as my uptrend is still intact. Okay. When it's not, I don't want it anymore. Okay. So hence I get out of all my positions like right there. I only had like one left. Okay. So as long as my uptrend's intact, I'm going to buy it. Not to mention on the 15-minute chart, all right, PPO was up here, up over 0.05, so it's up at 0.06, 0.07, maybe even up to 0.0. No, it got up size 0.07 right there. So that gave me confirmation that the trend is good. Seeing PPO up over the yellow line, all right, that's the 9 EMA. That gave me confirmation that the trend is good. And we're up over 0.05, all right? So I'm buying the dips or the lows of the option candle. I'm picking it off, okay? Meaning I don't know where it's going to be, the low. So I set up a net or a grid of buy orders to catch the bottom of the lows of those candles. And then when price moves up, I sell into strength, sell into strength, sell into strength. Capture the lows, sell into strength. It's just like rinse and repeat all day long. See? Sell into strength, 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 sell into strength. Again, over and over, doing the same thing over and over. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's it right there. That's how I made my 12K. Just like that. All right? So go back to the room, see if we got any questions. Okay? No questions? All right, everybody. I will see you all. Jim got a question. Thank you. Oh, thank you again for a great week in BYOB. Enjoy your weekend. Yes, you too, Jim. Thank you. Thank you, CP. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everybody. All right? Everybody have an awesome weekend. I'll see you all on Monday, all right, for another bullish week. Seems odd 3 DTE turns into 0 DTE on Monday. Yeah, it does. All right, but remember 7 DTE is good till next Friday. So they count the 2 weekend days. Not that they're traded, but the 3 DTE, yes, turns into a 0 on Monday. That's true. Yeah. Thanks, Gene. Thanks, Fahad. Thanks, JA. Again, if you did not make your daily goal today in this 10-minute uptrend, which I am the biggest fan of, okay? I offer free coaching, all right, for you, all right? Members in the room, trial members too, okay? Free coaching in the notes right here. So move this out of the way. This is me. Just follow the instructions. Contact me and let me know who you are, all right? And we will set it up right there on Teams. Okay, thanks everybody. I'll see you all. I'll see almost every one of you. I got coaching tonight, all right? So I see almost every one of you on Monday, all right? Until then, everybody have a beautiful evening, and thank you for hanging out with me.